Hey guys, and welcome to a showdown featuring Papa Palpatine leading the forces of the Empire up against Killaruno Don't Kill You and his Warriors of Chaos led forces, which is pretty interesting. From most replays you've seen on the channel, you know Papa Palpatine is a Chaos main, but perhaps that gives him some insight when facing them as well. For his Empire forces, it looks like we have Spearmen on the flanks with shields, which is a pretty decent pick overall. Should be able to force back Marauder Horsemasters and help kind of take down some of the larger threats. In the centre pocket, we have a nice unbreakable core of Flagellants. It looks like 2 units of those bad boys, as well as the Sigma Sons, Regiment of Renowned Swordsmen, who are the, of course, legendary sons of Sigma. Unbreakable as well. Can easily go toe-to-toe with Marauders and the like, but will struggle against more heavily armoured foes. In the secondary line, looks like we have more Spearmen as well dotted around, so a nice mixture of kind of units to hold the line and units to deal some damage. Right in the centre pocket, we do have the Silver Bullets, Regiment of Renowned Handgunners, who do have Stalk. Always one of the MVPs when I see these guys in actions. They're pretty much a must-pick in quite a few matchups. And then we have a huge amount of Cavalry with Empire Knights who are chevroned up twice, as well as Zintler's Reiksguard, the Regiment of Renowned Reiksguard, who do, I believe, have Vanguard deployment, anti-infantry, fantastic at cycle charging, pretty good shock cav all round, coming in with that 62 charge bonus, and they also look pretty damn badass and heroic as the brave men of the Empire charge heroically into the unknown. For leadership, it looks like we do have a Jade Wizard come with Regrowth and Earthblood, and up in the sky we have the mighty Emperor himself, Karl Franz, rocking the Rune Fan and Gal Maraz, dual wielding like a bad ass. Looks like we have double Outriders as well, pretty good in this matchup. They do decent, consistent damage and have, relatively okay range. A little bit harder to use than Pistoliers and a little less damage than grenade launchers, but a nice middle ground overall. Now for the forces of Chaos here, we have triple Marauder Horsemasters, it looks like, up in the front line, and these Spearmen definitely want to get into the position to kind of fend these guys off, keep them away from the key soft targets. But a nice skirmish core overall. Looks like we have some Chaos Warhounds with poison, as well as some in deep reserve, 2 units in fact of the poison ones. And for his main battle line, he has a mixture of Chaos Marauders, as well as a few extra kind of harder hitting troops. We have the Regiment of Renowned Chaos Warriors Mirror Guard here, who always look absolutely fantastic, rocking in with the Chaos Marauders dotted all the way along. And in the secondary line, we have the Demon Spew, Regiment of Renowned Forsaken, a unit you don't get to see terribly often. These guys do have immune psychology as well as poison damage. They will tear through state troops with deadly efficiency. However, they are relatively well armoured at 85, but they tend to get bogged down and sort of ground down through the course of a battle. So we'll have to see how their longevity does play into this. We also have a unit of Aspiring Champions who can be inspiring the lesser Marauders around them to greater feats of heroism. For a leadership core, it looks like we have the Deadly Goon Squad up in the air, double Exalted Hero, very deadly combination all round. Looks like they have both been given a Mark of Khorne as well, which increases their stats quite nicely, should allow them to goon out Karl Franz if they get a fair fight up in the skies. And we also have the big old Everwatcher, and he's going to come with his usual spells of Final Transmutation and Plague of Rust. So without further ado, let's get this battle underway. I myself am a big fan of Plague of Rust combined here with the Demon Spew to really allow them to chew through units very quickly. Looks like the Marauder Horsemasters got a little over-eager, kind of pushed into the front line a little bit, and the Silver Bullets did spring their trap, unloading a hail of Silver Bullets, getting 9 kills, forcing those Horsemasters back, but they've got plenty of time to recover and come back into the fray. They should be able to rally there quite comfortably. Looks like the Outriders are pushing forward as well, trying to put as much pressure on the Horsemasters as possible. Horsemasters don't have the worst engagement against Outriders if they can catch them, but of course Outriders can shoot, then simply turn away and use their mobility to escape this. Looks like the mighty Franz is floating over this direction as well, as the front lines are about to engage. It looks like the Zingler's Reiksguard taking the fight to the enemy, with the Empire Knights following in suit as well, hammering down the Marauders, doing some fantastic damage and taking basically no damage in return. Look at that, 29 kills and no health lost. Very impressive stuff as the Sigma Sons do charge forward into the Aspiring Champions. These Plor Flagellants here will be holding the line, but the Demon Spew are going to tear through them very, very quickly here. Looks like the Silver Bullets are starting to pile in some shots as well. The big old chicken has forced his way through into the back line as the Chaos Warhounds coming into the back lines. Karl Franz unfortunately did take a fight up in the skies up against Double Exalted Hero. He certainly wants to run for his life. Plague Rust was popped on him, but as well as a regrowth, and he's going to be diving down to friendly fellow troops in order to get a little bit of protection. Over on this flank, the Zintler's Reiksguard continuing to hammer strong. Really nice cycle charging. These guys are bouncing in and out of combat, breaking the Marauders wherever they see them before pulling back once more. In the back lines here, looks like the Everwatcher has pretty much been able to shut down the Silver Bullets with the help of some Chaos Warhounds. Empire Knights are going to be floating back here, but the final transmutation does catch them as well as Franz, putting the Empire on the back foot a little bit here, as the front line, they are slowly being ground down here. Mirrorguard starting to rack up some kills as well, but the Zintler's Reiksguard can bounce along and try and save this situation, as it is looking at a little bit bleak. But in they come with a thunderous charge into the flank of the Mirrorguard, sending many of those evil Chaos Warriors flying, and they're struggling to hold the line up against such brave warriors who once again are simply going to fall back and retreat. With Karl Franz pushed off, at least for now, looks like the Everwatcher is going to be going after the Jade Wizard, which is a pretty good idea. In the distance, we do see Galmaraz and the Reiksguard Runefang both popped, and this is a mistake by the Chaos player of spreading out these Exalted Heroes. He wants to keep both of them together to fend off Franz. Well, it looks like he's going to be able to escape for the most part. Looks like Foeseeker isn't ready to pop just yet. In the distance, Outriders are slowly being dragged down here by Marauder Horsemasters, and in the front lines, Empire Knights once again kind of bouncing around where possible, as well as the Zintlers. So far, really good management of the Cavalry from the Empire player. Sparring Champions are slowly being dragged down by Sigma's Sons, but they are holding the line and making them pay quite a heavy toll. Mirrorguard looks like they are going to be able to finish the job here, despite the fact the Zintler's heroics earlier on kind of driving them back a little bit. But they are up to 47 kills now, doing some pretty solid work. Jade Wizard is being forced off here, and there's pretty much no chance of escape, as the Exalted Hero is going to feast happily tonight. Silver Bullets managed to get off 1 or 2 volleys, but nothing to save the line. And Karl Franz managing to pop back, terrify these Chaos Warhounds, and protect the bullets that little while longer. Zintlers once again riding headlong into the enemy before pulling back once more. Up to 76 kills, pretty impressive stuff, and they've really kept this frontline fighter going for the forces of the Empire, as I feel like Chaos would have overrun them by this point. Karl Franz is now hunting down the Exalted Heroes, trying to fend them off. It looks like we have the one alive here, and the other is kind of blobbed down here, trying to finish off the Empire Knights and protect its Liege Lord, the Everwatcher. There's a decent amount of Horsemasters left alive as well. They need to conserve the ammunition and use them on the right targets, mainly Karl Franz, who is up in the skies now, dueling this hero who has been caught here. Stand your ground has been popped, and Franz will easily dispatch such a lesser foe as an Exalted Hero. And up in the skies, this hero probably actually going to go down here, might just be able to escape here, where a few bullets do come in, shattering the mighty beast, but not before the Chaos Warhounds do flood in. Looks like the Silver Bullets could well be doomed here. Spearman desperately running over here as fast as possible in order to assist, but it looks like it's going to be a little too late, as Franz does duel the second Exalted Hero, and you can see the difference it makes, him taking them on one after the other, rather than fighting both at the same time. It really does help out the Franzmeister. Zintler's Reiksguard do charge in to help finish off these aspiring champions and surround the Everwatcher, and they do pretty decent damage all round, especially on the charge. Horses do rear up there as they bounce once again out of combat. Probably going to be floating over here to hammer down at the Mirrorguard once more, and we can actually zoom in and have a little look at this charge. These guys ride dirty all the way in to the Mirrorguard, sending these guys flying. It's always awesome to watch a big cavalry charge. You can tell I'm a big fan of Rohan from the Lord of the Rings universe. Karl Franz is managing to dispatch this second Exalted Hero. There is some Overwatch fire coming in by the Horsemasters, but it's rather sporadic at this point. And it looks like the Chaos Warhounds did finally get to finish off the Silver Bullets. However, the other Horsemasters, in an effort to get to Franz, seem to be bogged down by Spearmen and actually rear charged by some Empire Knights, pinning them in place. And it looks like the Empire Knights will be dragged down here through sheer weight of numbers. However, they have had a lot of damage, kind of dealt to the Chaos forces here overall. It looks like Outriders are still firing as well. Only 13 kills, but again, it's all damage that's adding up. And when they've used up this much ammunition, they've probably had quite a good game. At this point, the Mirrorguard desperately trying to hold firm and protect the Everwatcher, but Karl Franz is such a better duelist, even with Plague of Rust, Galmaraz and Reiksguard Runefang. You can see his stats are crazy boosted at this point. Everwatcher may be unbreakable, but his body will certainly break, just not his spirit. And it looks like he's going to be going down here. 170 hit points left is not much at all. France simply needs to turn around and deal the killing blow. Looks like Horsemasters have darted in here, perhaps being able to save the Everwatcher, who has managed to dart away. And if this has bought enough time for maybe just one last final transmutation popped onto France to assassinate him, could switch this game back around, as it looks like balance power for the first time is in the Empire favour. There's a few units of Chaos kind of dotted all around, but with some Empire Cav still on the field and relatively healthy, they should be able to hammer them down and stop them from kind of unifying and making a bold stand. The Zintlers are now hunting down the Everwatcher, and once again, Horsemasters are being chucked in a suicidal charge in an attempt to allow the big chicken to escape and buy him some time to do a bit more witchcraft. In come the Chaos Warhounds, and they will be poisoning the Reiksguard, but Karl Franz pops in, says hello, and a lot of these Chaos forces will simply be running away from such an impressive and mighty threat to them. The Everwatcher does swoop in, gets a lovely rear attack on France, actually dragging him down to 560 health. He is getting danger low at this point, and the Plague of Rust has gone down, but he has managed to get up into the skies to escape, and he's simply going to chill out and wait for that Plague of Rust to finish. The Zintlers have managed to break the back of the remainder of the Chaos forces. Looks like France is actually going to be going in, which I suppose isn't too risky at this point, as the Everwatcher is so low. And France, with one swipe from his hammer, crushes the skull of the giant pigeon, and looks like claims a victory for the forces of the Empire. There's simply no way the Chaos forces will be able to rally at this point. There's a few broken units of Chaos Warhounds, and it looks like it's just the Demon Spew left fighting, which is pretty interesting to see. 180 kills. I didn't really focus on these guys too much, but they've been certainly given the business to a lot of these troops. And in comes the Franz, and that is going to break the back of the Demon Spew, as they are exhausted, shattered, and running for the hills. So very well played there to both players, and a Pyrrhic victory for the Empire forces. Before I do a little breakdown, just want to give a massive shout out to everyone who has been supporting me recently, and thank you for all the subscriptions, thumbs up, and comments. I do try and read them all, and I do indeed read them all. It takes me a little while to respond to them sometimes, but massive thank you for your support. Anyway, Papa Palpatine, a true champ of the channel, been around for a very long time, and an XMD member. Awesome play and awesome build. Very close game overall. Good management of Karl Franz as well to keep him away from the exalted heroes where possible. Heal him up at key moments and then come in and kind of isolate them and pick them apart that way. MVPs 100% the Zintler's Reiksguard, riding into battle time and time again to hammer that front line and in the end surround some of the key targets. Without them, I feel like the front line of the Empire would have fallen far quicker, and then the Silver Bullets would have been overrun a little bit faster, and it kind of puts more and more pressure on the mobile units as well as France. So 183 kills, absolute bosses this game. As for the Warriors of Chaos, very well played as well, a very close game. I think the kind of combination of the Mirror Guard and Demon Spew did allow them to clear through the chaff eventually, and really nice early pressure with the final transmutations coming down on France, exalted heroes as well, pummeling him. I think his one mistake was kind of splitting those two guys up, and that kind of ended up, allowing them to get isolated and killed, and losing two powerful heroes like that is massive. They could have easily dealt with the Reiksguard themselves, and so on and so forth. Good management as well from all the Horsemasters. A little bit of a mistake early on to get a few of them caught by Silver Bullets and so forth, but they survived to the late game, used up the majority of their ammunition, got some really good kills all round, and did some good chasing off of units as well. Anyway guys, hope you did enjoy. Till next time, peace, and as always, stay awesome.